We are Marc, Amy, Juliette and Clement from the medieval Chateau de Rosieres. This Christmas we've made you a very special advent calendar. Every day from the 1st to the 25th of December we will open the door to a different room in the chateau and introduce you to its past, present and future. Merry Christmas.
Hello everybody, this is Amy and Marc from Chateau de Rosieres bringing you the last but one Advent tour video. What you can hear in the background is Juliette running around the room with a stool that she's using. It looks like her little Zimmer frame. She's learning to walk with it. Oh, through the tripod. We're in the kitchen, but it's not actually the it's kind of the kitchen, isn't it?
The other day we showed you the tiny kitchen. This one is the other room that we actually use like a proper kitchen. It is much bigger, but it is quite unpractical because it has loads of doors. There are 6 doors in just one room, one window, one big fireplace, and so there's hardly any wall space to put countertops or anything we can work on. So we are going to do some changes in it.
Big changes.
It's quite challenging because we really need to think through how we are going to do it. And we're actually not completely decided on what we do.
No. One of the things we're pretty sure we're going to do though is because we talked to you about the other kitchen becoming the boot room and the entrance, and that will enable us to close off the current entrance and make that into a window, and that will mean that the little munchkins can play in here without it being a dirty throughway with boots and animals and things, won't it?
Yeah. The main issue we have is that all the chickens think it's their home, and especially in summer when the doors open, they just walk in and do their business and
the dogs in and out, and the cats are in and out, and we're in and out in our boots. And yet there's no real, the way everything's laid out at the moment, there's no space very close to here that's easy for the kids to play in and still be around us. So we've got big plans.
Yeah. This room is located in one of the oldest parts of the chateau. It's surrounded by very thick walls, stone walls, all the way around. And there are a lot of doors and fireplaces and stuff around, which means that it must have been maybe changed over the years. And also, it's really hard to find what its original purpose was. What we know definitely is that it was used as a kitchen for most of the 20th century. We know from people who lived here in the 30s and 40s that it was already a kitchen. There used to be a massive wood-fired stove in the middle of the room that was piped to the fireplace, to the chimney, and where they would cook. The kitchen that we showed you the other day, the tiny kitchen, was used at the time as a wood storage.
And one of the most impressive things about the kitchen is the beautiful cement tiles, and they date from the 19th century.
Yeah, probably late 19th or early 20th.
And you think they were made locally, don't you?
Yeah, they were made locally in Saint-Marcel d'Ardèche, which is a town a bit south of here. And I know that because there are a few spare tiles in the attic, and they are stamped at the back underneath, Saint-Marcel d'Ardèche. So it's a factory that was that shut in the 1920s. So it means the tiles were made before that. And when we opened the cupboard, there was the cupboard, the door behind me used to be a cupboard when we arrived, and we turned it as a door.
Yeah.
And we discovered underneath the concrete slab the old clay tiles that were underneath these cement tiles. So we know there was an original layer of clay tiles, and probably in the 19th or 20th century, they put this layer of more modern cement tiles on top.
But we will keep the cement tiles in here, won't we, I think?
Definitely, they're really pretty.
Yeah, and really unusual. They make the room quite what it is, don't they?
Yeah.
Although the room doesn't look like it will do eventually, we have done some pretty major works in here to do with the fireplace. Because when we moved in, it was just, it was an open fireplace on a raised concrete platform with some stones around. And it had a very narrow modern beam and then a very thin small hood on it, and it just looked quite out of place. It was supposedly a bit decorative, but it didn't fit into a massive room like this. And so the big problem with the open fire was that it smoked hugely, and we had to have the door open in order to stop it smoking, which then meant all the hot air went out the door. And at the time we had an oil burner for the central heating, which was very expensive, so we decided to put a wood burner in here. And at the same time, Marc thought he would try something different with the hood, didn't you?
We went to a restaurant down the Rhone Valley in Valence that was located in a really nice medieval house. And we found in that restaurant they had a really nice fireplace with that exact design. It was a big sweet chestnut beam, obviously much older than this. It was still the original design, and we had the idea to replicate it here after we removed the 70s weird hood.
While Marc was working on the idea of doing this beam with his brother, who's a carpenter, in the medieval style, we thought, well, we're going to have to redo the hood as well. And we thought that we would be able to do it and build with flat bricks going up, but then we realised it was beyond us. So we approached a stonemason, and he was a local stonemason. And he said, well, why don't you do it in real stone? Why are you doing it in breeze blocks and just plastering it? And we said, well, we think that's all we can afford. And he said, yeah, but it won't be as nice, will it? He said, so I will do it for you at the same price, but carve the stones. And he got so enthusiastic. He's a guy from the next village, and he started doing the arch, and he did it absolutely perfectly. And it showed us which we already knew, the importance of using local craftsmen to do jobs like this when you're working on a historic building, because each area has their own style. And round here, the families that have been here for generations, hundreds of years. Marc found a document from the 17th century that had all the craftsmen who'd worked on the building, and they were names that people still have in the village. So that knowledge has been transmitted down through centuries. And true enough, when he'd finished the hood, which we were really pleased with, he said, shall I have a look at what's behind your plaster on the walls? I reckon you might have some nice stones there. And so he chipped away at it, and what he found behind that you can see now looks like it was built at the same time as the hood, whereas in fact he built that hood without knowing what the stone walls looked like. Just blew our minds, that. And so we're really excited to get back to the open stone walls in the future at some point too. When I say stone walls in the future somewhere, I mean in the rest of the chateau, because obviously we don't want to bring it all down to being medieval again everywhere, but it'd be really nice to have more bits that reference the true age of the chateau, especially on the ground floor.
We bought the table of the previous owners after we moved in. Actually, it's a really nice early 18th century table, which really talked to us because it has really interesting craftsmanship with the beautiful pattern, but yet it is quite a rustic farm table. And it perfectly fits the proportions of the room, and we had noticed it when we first visited the chateau, and we were really happy when the previous owners agreed to sell it back to us. We have put some temporary furniture in this kitchen, waiting to do the work on the walls. One of the nice pieces we really like is this Provençal enfilade. So it's a kind of very long buffet with 4 doors. It's early, or 18th century at least. And it really fitted the space. It's not the kind of furniture you can fit anywhere, but we found it really fitted the kitchen, and it offers a really good amount of storage. The other piece we really liked for this kitchen is this wardrobe from Beaujolais. So it's Beaujolais is north of Lyon, kind of area. It's this wardrobe is quite unusual by its format, because it's quite tall and thin with 4 doors. And it actually makes it really handy for a kitchen, because we can store all the glasses and cups and crockeries and mugs in quite a narrow and thin space. And then for everyday use, we fitted this IKEA kitchen island, which was actually just the right size for the kitchen, at least temporarily, before we do it. Today we have been given this beautiful cardoon by a neighbor of ours. I thought it would be quite interesting to show it to you actually, because that's a very, very traditional local Christmas food. It's a relative of artichokes, but you eat the stems that have been forced in the dark. So usually people wrap the whole plant in cardboard or fabric or anything, tie it so that it grows tall and white, and then it's eaten either with the bechamel sauce or gently fried in butter. And it's eaten in most of the Lyon kind of area, northern Rhone Valley, and apparently also all the way to Switzerland. And this will make a few dinners actually, because it's way more than we can eat in one dinner. But luckily it keeps really well in the cellar, so we'll just peel the outside stems out and keep the roots in a dark, damp cellar, and it will keep for several more weeks.
Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll see you. Have a wonderful Christmas Eve, and we'll see you tomorrow for the last video in the series. Bye-bye.
Bye, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.